I've been in Asia for over 5 months now. It's been a very interesting trip because I've been able to talk to family members, friends, and some of my friends' wealthier parents here in Asia and just hear their perspective of life, finances, and the most interesting thing is hearing how they think differently than how we do over in America. They're able to accumulate a massive amount of wealth and be able to share that with future generations. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the 3 Asian secrets to wealth. So the first one is family. In the Asian culture, family is very important, and I found that they have a very strong connection with their family members. There's a sense of familial duty where you have to take care of the people above you and the people below you. So what that means is parents will take care of their children's finances way past their 18th birthday. Whereas in America, I've seen many parents cut off their kids once they turn 18. Now this obviously cascades into huge implications in the future. Like if you can go to college without having to take on a massive amount of student loans, then you're gonna be able to comfortably take a job that you actually want instead of taking the first job that comes to you when you graduate. And because you're not saddled with student debt, you're able to save and invest so you can eventually buy your own home. In fact, many Asian parents and families are expected to kind of contribute towards their children's down payment for their home. And in Asia, it's actually commonplace for people to live in their parents' house until they get married in their 30s. In Hong Kong, rent is extremely expensive and the apartment size is very, very small. So most people just opt to live in a separate room in their family's home instead of trying to find their own place. And I find that very interesting because in America, it's kind of looked at as like a taboo or you get shunned if you're trying to take assistance from your parents after you turn 18 years old. It's almost like a badge of honor not to take any assistance from your family. If you do take assistance, like if your parents pay for your college, then you should feel shame because other people didn't have to do that. They took on their own loans and they were able to be self-sufficient at 18. But again, this leads to a snowball effect where you're taking not the highest paying jobs and then you're not able to save or invest. And then when it comes time when you're 40 or 50 or 60, you just don't have the funds to live a very comfortable life. Whereas again, for the Asian culture, they take care of their family members. And so then later in life, when the parents are older, the children actually take care of the parents in turn. So a lot of elder people either live with the family. So you have like a person and their parents live with them as well as their kids. So you have 3 generations all under one roof. Or in places like Hong Kong, where it's very common to have a live-in nurse or a live-in maid, you're able to pay for that full-time assistance for your parents. So it's very rare to see elderly people in Asia live in like a community home like we see in America. So I think it's all very nice. And people generally feel like their money is like the family's money. So any money they make is the family's money. So if their parents need something or their kids need something, they don't even think twice. They just go ahead and give them the money to let them do what they want with it. So it works both ways. The parents take care of the kids until they're financially sufficient. And then when they get older, the kids take care of their parents because they're too old to work. People generally aren't left out in the dirt to fend for themselves. Everyone supports each other. So that's a huge component of the first Asian secret to wealth, which is family. Now, the second Asian secret to wealth is gonna be no surprise to many people, but a majority of the people that I've talked to who are significantly well off in Asia all own real estate. Yes, it may or may not be surprising to you. My channel is called Sean Loves Real Estate, and I may just happen to have gotten to the field that does well, but hey, it works. People who have purchased real estate and have held onto it for a very long period of time are doing better off than people who just don't own any real estate. And yes, I've heard the stories that you can potentially make more money if you just, invested in stocks or traded in Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, the ones who have lasted the longest, who own the most, just happen to have a huge portfolio in real estate. It's just all the benefits work towards each other when you own properties. You get to own a property that basically pays for itself over time. In 30 years, the properties are paid off free and clear. So you're able to just have massive amounts of cash flow and not have to worry about making money from a full-time job. The properties tend to appreciate over time. So people who have purchased properties in like Taiwan and Hong Kong 30 years ago are now sitting very pretty now. Even my properties that I purchased less than 10 years ago have doubled in value. And since I only put 20% down, I basically 5x my money. So it's been a really powerful wealth builder. And when I talk to more and more people who are doing well off, yeah, they all own real estate. And all the people who aren't doing as well off is because they weren't able to purchase real estate, which kind of goes back to my first point where having family supporting you and helping you buy that first property, it is really important as long as you're buying the right stuff. And even when it comes to buying stock versus real estate, the thing about stocks is that it's not very predictable or stable. So even in different economies, stocks go up and down differently. For example, in Hong Kong, the market was doing really well about 10 or 20 years ago. But in the last decade, the Hong Kong market has been declining. However, the real estate prices have continued to increase because the demand is so high, there's so many people in Hong Kong and just not enough space for people to live in. So the value of like a super small, under 800 square feet apartment is over $1 million, which is really, really crazy to me. And when you look at living in Asia in general, a lot of things are pretty cheap, right? Like transportation is not that bad. You take the public metro. Food costs are relatively affordable as well. But the housing is the most expensive part. So if you can buy a house, then you don't have to spend all that money on rent. You don't have to pay a crazy mortgage. And you know that just by owning the property, it will continue to appreciate over time. Another thing about real estate investing that a lot of people don't think about is by owning properties, it's kind of like forcing you to save over time. So for example, if I bought a stock and the price went up a little bit, I could be tempted to sell that stock and capture some profits. But what if I sold too early? Then I would miss out on all these gains in the future. Or on the flip side, what if it dips down a little bit? Then I panic sell and then the stock goes back up again. Then again, I lost that ability to make profits. But by owning a property, since it is pretty difficult to buy and sell, right? It takes some time to go through the paperwork, there are closing costs involved. So most people often don't sell properties unless they really have to or they really want to. And because of that, you now have some kind of mandatory savings where you're putting money into a property without really thinking about it. You're actually saving and increasing your net worth. So it kind of takes out that emotional aspect of investing and kind of forces you to do better financially. So again, that's why we enjoy buying properties. From all the people I've seen, the richest people all own real estate. And the best part is most people that own real estate are just like me. They're super lazy. They don't have to worry about a lot of things on a day-to-day basis. They're not actively flipping houses, buying and selling commercial buildings, syndicating. They're just owning properties, renting them out, and letting them sit for years and years and years. Now, the third Asian secret to wealth is their hard work and determination in everything that they do. So I think this is something that's culturally ingrained in their society. When they go to school, they study and they work a lot. Like, we complain about our homework assignments back when we were in elementary school all the way up to high school. But have you seen what these kids in Asia do? They have to go to school for several hours a day. And then after school, they have an after school program where they learn and study for a test. Now, people might think, okay, well, you're not really using your brain if you're just doing rote memorization over and over again. But I tell you, if you're used to spending over 12 hours a day in school, then when you go out to the real world and you run your own things with that same level of effort, you're definitely going to be successful. There's an old Chinese saying that says, no one who can wake up before dawn for 360 days a year will fail to make his family rich. And that's basically it with the Asian culture. Although, the big downside to being in Asia is that they get paid a lot less than we do in America. But if you think about it, if you can take that kind of focus and determination and bring it to a place like America where you can make a lot of money, then you're gonna do very, very well. So basically the third secret is they are very diligent in what they do. And if you look at people who work here, they're often working 12 hours a day. So we're here in Japan, Tokyo, and people work here a lot. And it is actually commonly known that people are very stressed out at their full-time jobs. But I'm not really talking about people who work full-time corporate jobs. The people who are the best and the most wealthy were the ones who took that hard work ethic and determination and put it towards their own business. If you can take that same energy that you would use towards working for someone else and put it towards working for yourself for your own business, you're gonna be doing very, very well. I can guarantee you, I could make this channel even bigger and make way, way, way more money if I had that same work ethic and determination to grow this channel and make a lot of money. The thing is, I'm pretty lazy and I really enjoy my lifestyle by just owning properties and getting income from that. But if you wanna be ultra successful and you wanna make a lot of money, then you have to work hard. You have to be determined and you cannot be lazy. And interestingly enough, if you're an entrepreneur in Asia, and even if things don't work out, because you put in so much effort and so much time, you've probably learned a lot of things about running a business. And you're probably good at talking to people and negotiating. And all these skills are actually very valuable if you eventually want a good job. So for example, one of my uncles owned multiple businesses in his 30s and 40s. Now unfortunately, they didn't go really far, but because he developed all these skills, he ran all these businesses, he eventually got a job with Microsoft and was paid very, very well to do work for them. So the third Asian secret is that you need to work really hard. You need to be determined. You need to have a good work ethic in order to pursue your dreams and be financially successful. Now, as a bonus tip, people who try to make money fast through gambling, get-rich-quick schemes have almost never been financially prosperous. I have not met a single person here who has made a huge fortune by gambling or by cryptocurrencies or by get-rich-quick schemes. It all does not work out in the long run. So I would be very cautious of who you listen to in terms of getting financial advice or in terms of trying different ploys. This has been my experience from talking to several people, especially those who are doing very, very well off here in Asia. And I hope you can take some of these lessons and apply them to your own life. Now, if you guys have enjoyed this video and you want to find out how to be incredibly wealthy in your 20s, you definitely have to check out this video over here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you and I'll see you next time. Take care.